Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 710. No City, No Cry. Hello, Big Chillians, and welcome back to the Big Chill Podcast. I'm Frank, joined as with Eddie. Eddie, how's it going?
Yeah, things are going on. I think I'm technically not supposed to be joining you this week.
You ruined it. You ruined it.
I'm well aware.
Because when the Niners lost, I thought to myself, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do this podcast alone. But then, because of my memory sometimes, I was thinking, because I know you equally are strong on the Niners and anti-Rams, but as much as, I should say, the City-Arsenal debate. So part of me was thinking, when in the podcast did you say it? Did you say it about the Niners losing, or did you say about Arsenal winning? And I wasn't fully sure, so I had to go back and listen just to make sure that I should be doing this podcast solo.
Well, not solo. You had the opportunity to invite Sam back on for the week, but that would have taken him weeks to respond, so that would have been a real no-go. But no, it is true. If I were a total man of my word, you would be speaking to yourself right now, as I did assure listeners that the 49ers would win. And it looked great for 3.5 quarters. There was no risk. And then all of a sudden it went wrong really quickly. But yeah, we can get onto that, I guess, when we do more of our week 3 reactions.
Yeah, I mean, I think if we want to start with NFL, one of the funnier memes I saw posted up was, let me pull it up here because I thought it was kind of funny. It said, Andy Dalton should get to play next week for the Jaguars as sort of a bar rescue type thing where teams with struggling top pick QBs are rescued by Andy Dalton. I kind of love this idea.
Yeah, I did tell you. I did kind of warn you, right? Andy Dalton's perfect record, in that particular matchup, and how well he'd done in week 3 of last year. And now he's the only quarterback this season to have thrown for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Unreal.
Imagine if you'd bet on that at the beginning of the season. Who will be the first quarterback with a 300-yard, 3 touchdown stat line? Andy Dalton would have been 1,000 to 1.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And speaking of the Andy Dalton, I saw, he had a phenomenal game, and the Carolina Panthers were posting on their social medias all about it. Why is he called El Rifle Rojo? What about him or the Carolina Panthers is Latino or Mexican or anything? Why is that his nickname, according to the Panthers?
I don't know.
Rifle Rojo?
I don't know. I wasn't aware of that, to be perfectly honest with you. But yeah, maybe he does have some.
Yeah, he really looks it.
Origin. You do get redheaded Mexicans.
All right, let's see. Now you've got me.
And Andy Dalton does sound like an extremely Latin name.
So yeah, I knew he was called the Red Rifle in college when he played for TCU, but I don't know why they then switched it to being Spanish. I don't see anything. He was obviously from Texas, so maybe, who knows? Could be.
Well, I never thought I would Google the term, is Andy Dalton Mexican? But absolutely nothing came back on that particular search. So the detailed research that we've just done onto this particular topic has unfortunately produced no results. But yeah, no, Andy Dalton, I guess the big loser of the weekend then in a lot of respects was Bryce Young, even as no longer an active player, because it makes him look even worse that Andy Dalton stepped in and immediately looked 10 times more competent and comfortable.
Who's a bigger loser, Bryce Young or the Panthers? Because now the Panthers have legitimately just wasted the first pick in that draft, because what can they possibly get for him? They can't trade him now because they've already shown that you can put in a 42-year-old Andy Dalton and he performs 1,000 times better than the number 1 pick did.
I don't know. I think someone, if they really wanted to shop him right now, I bet someone would be desperate enough to take some kind of interest.
Probably the Niners, and then you'd actually tell me next year in training camp he looked phenomenal.
And I
He
would be
actually
right.
looks like a 10 times better Kyler Murray version.
And I would be right based on recent events. Look, you can doubt me. I was wrong, obviously, about the Rams 49ers, but I can do a little bit of celebrating this week, too, because, I might be a bit of a quarterback whisperer overall. Not only,
How is this?
not
Wrong
only
about Jimmy G. I don't even remember who that draft pick was that they
Trey
picked a
Lance,
few years ago.
Trey
What's his name?
Lance, Trey
What's his
Lance.
name? What's his
He'll be
name?
starting for the quarter Cowboys pretty soon, so watch out.
You were right about Sam Darnold, who will have 3 good weeks in the NFL.
Not only was I right about Sam Darnold, I've doubted 3 quarterbacks over the history of this podcast, and all 3 of them, the wheels are coming off faster than can be spoken about. Trevor Lawrence, that guy's nearly, you want to talk about what's the trade value of one former number 1 overall pick. I think you'd be lucky to get a bag of M&Ms for Trevor Lawrence right now. Other one, your lover boy over in Los Angeles, Justin Herbert. I mean, injured.
What's wrong with Justin Herbert?
Wow.
He had like 1 incompletion before he got injured. He was playing like a phenomenal game.
Yeah, and lost. Typical Justin Herbert. Wow, it is semi-impressive stat line for a while, ended up in defeat. And then now injured, probably out for a bit. He's toast. Like, you need to come to terms. 2 things you need to accept in life. One is that the Pittsburgh Steelers are better than you think they are, and the other is Justin Herbert is garbage. And then the third one,
Garbage.
the third one on Garbage Watch, old
Brock
sweet
Purdy.
lips Joe Burrow. That guy is a fraud. He's living off 1 Super Bowl appearance and trying to convince the world through hair dye that he's still a relevant quarterback this year. I mean, that guy, Joe Burrow, might be the biggest starting quarterback fraud in the NFL right now. It's a little hot takey what I'm doing, but I do actually believe.
Wait. I got to do this. Joe Burrow, in a loss against Washington, was 29 for 38 for 324, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 127 rating QB, and a 73 QBR.
I know, fraud.
The week before against the Kansas City Chiefs, 2-time defending Super Bowl champs, 23 for 36, 260, 2 TDs, no interceptions.
Fraud. I mean, I know, look, the Bengals,
Unreal.
every single one of the Bengals' possessions either ended in a touchdown or a field goal attempt. Fraud. Still, it's a loss. All I care about,
the worst defense I've ever seen in the NFL.
all I care about are wins and losses. And ultimately the quarterback is responsible for that even when he's not on the field.
So
because
Brock
actually
Purdy now a fraud at 1 and 2.
No, because I don't think no one's penciling him in for a Hall of Fame career.
Well, you have.
I mean, I'll put it this way. I'm not automatically pulling the trigger on a Brock Purdy Justin Herbert trade. That's what I'll say. And I mean that. Joe Burrow,
Means.
if the Chargers called up and said, "Hey, we want a straight swap. We want Brock Purdy. We'll give you Justin Herbert." I'm not sure. Trevor Lawrence, I say no to.
But you don't say no to Joe Burrow, or you say yes, you'll take Joe Burrow?
For the time being, I would probably say yes, but he's 2 or 3 weeks away from me saying no. They should get that trade offer in now because it will be off the table soon.
What if next week Trevor Lawrence comes in and he's got like a shaved head and he's like completely different?
If he cut his hair, I might give him a little bit of a boost. That increases trade value a little bit. And dyed it blonde.
He's got like a beard.
More
shaved
blonde.
The head.
Like bleached it. Went Joe Burrow. But no, I say this because obviously I'm exaggerating and being slightly hyperbolic with my analysis there of those quarterbacks. But I will say this, it did get me thinking. Those are 3 quarterbacks who people love, certainly 2 quarterbacks who people love, Herbert and Joe Burrow. People talk about, certainly in the case of Joe Burrow, I think most would say probably on course for a Hall of Fame career, likely to win a Super Bowl at some point. I think most people, if you set the over-under at 0.5, I think a lot of people are taking the over based on the fact that he's already made it to a Super Bowl in a 4 or 5 year professional career. Herbert and Trevor Lawrence, I think the jury would be out a little bit more, but certainly in Herbert, people still love raving about his overall talent level. But it got me thinking, because you do hate the Steelers. You love those quarterbacks. Well, you love one of them. You hate the Steelers. And it did get me thinking of how our analysis or our views of NFL teams vary so much based on like which side of the ball you're elite at. Because the Steelers defense might be better than any other single unit of a team in the NFL, if you see what I mean. Like their defense is probably better than any offense is right now. And yet and I agree with you, I don't think of them being as quite as good as probably you should be, because it's not their offense. It's not a superstar quarterback putting up yards. And ultimately, I suppose it boils down to, well, if they play a good team, that team might be able to overcome some of that defensive prowess, and they don't have the offensive capabilities of scoring 21, 24, 26 points. But yeah, quarterback frauds, and maybe defenses matter a little bit more this season than they have in recent years.
I can push back. I don't buy the defense argument, because I think you still need to have a very good offense. And I think the prime example is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs, in the past 2 years that they've won the Super Bowl, statistically actually have like a top 5, top 10 defense. It's a very, very good defense from all statistical standpoints. But they back that up by having a top 5 offense to complement it. You need to have an offense that can score points, because there's going to be a time where your defense just isn't at 100%. It either injuries or great game plan against someone, and you have to just outscore an opponent. And I honestly don't think the Steelers can ever outscore an opponent.
Well, they've done it 3 times so far this season.
What, with 13 points, 18 points, and a whopping 20? That was the big
one. Trending upwards. They'll be at 100 by the end of the season at this rate, Frank. Then you're really going to have to go. You're going to have to really bend yourself into new positions to try and talk yourself into the Steelers sucking when they've just won 95-0.
The Steelers can go 17-0, and I still won't be that convinced, because I mean their schedule is not difficult.
It's insane.
Okay, they beat the Falcons in Week 1 in Kirk Cousins' first game back in over a year. Not that impressive. They then beat the Broncos with Bo Nix, who somehow had a great game last week, or probably the only good game he has all year. One of the worst teams in the NFL, Denver Broncos. They then beat the Chargers.
I don't think the Broncos are a bottom 5 team, but they're not good. But yeah, I don't think they're a bottom 5 team.
They beat the Chargers, which is a good win. But when you look at the fact that they were playing a backup QB the second half, who literally couldn't even stand there and do anything, I'm not that impressed with it. If Herbert plays that whole game and they beat them and this is the score, I walk out a lot more impressed. I'm not that shocked that they could beat a Chargers team who only had a starting quarterback for a half. And then what do they play next? The Colts. Okay, they're going to go 4-0 because the Colts are fucking awful. Then they play the Cowboys. They can probably beat the Cowboys, are in an absolute free fall. They then play the Raiders. The Raiders look awful. They then play the Jets. Maybe that'll be the first true test. And I don't even think the Jets are that great. Then they play the Giants. Oh, not that scary. They then play the Commanders. I'm still not sold. Then they play the Ravens. That will be the game. So that's not until they'll be 4-0, 5-0, 6-0,
that's
7-0.
November 17th.
They'll be 9-0. November 17th. That's the first real test for the Steelers.
So at that point, they have the division probably wrapped up, and they're certainly a playoff team.
Eddie, they make the playoffs every year, and they never advance. You know why? Because their offense fucking blows, and Tomlin is overrated.
This is unbelievable.
Tomlin is great in the regular season. Put a little fucking fire under him, folds.
All right.
I mean, he's no Sirianni. That guy's in a class of his own. But, or I don't even know who the coach of the Bears is anymore because I refuse to remember his name because he's going to be fired in like 5 weeks. But that guy.
It's also because you have terrible short-term memory.
That guy is fucking up left and right.
Well, anyway, that covers some of the topics coming out of this week, but just another, not quite as unpredictable as the week before, but still quite a few upsets. Heavy favorites not doing particularly well in the NFL. Quite strange because week 1, all the favorites pretty much came in.
Yeah.
Like week 1, it looked like, oh, okay, this is going to be chalk. We know exactly who the really bad teams are going to be, and the good teams are the usual suspects, and probably a lot of these games are going to be super predictable. And ever since, week 1 really fooled us. And then, so you consider that overall this season now, so teams favored by more than 6 are 3-16 against the spread, and 10-9 outright. So they've lost more than they've won as 6 point. Like the underdog has won. They're 9-10 outright. I mean, the underdog has won more than they've more than they've lost. Got confused in my own statistic there, but. And when you factor in, I did not bother to look at like if you took week 1 out of that, but I'm sure if you eliminated all those week 1 games where several of those 6-point favorites certainly won outright and a few covered, you'd probably be looking at like a 75% success rate for 6-point or more underdogs, like money line.
Well, I mean, the thing that this tells me is that week 4, the favorites are due.
Well, we'll get onto it obviously for our week 4 prediction, but we have the heaviest favorite of the season this year coming up. Yeah. So that will be an interesting one. If there's an upset there,
resting on weak Brock Purdy's shoulders.
Yeah, then we really have trouble. But I mean, it does get into it. Like, at what point do you how many weeks does this have to go on for? Obviously, the NFL strives for parity, and I guess through 3 weeks, we've had maybe some of the most parity we've ever seen in some respects. At what point would you completely, like, when do you give up on the idea? The Bills are the only team who've looked remotely complete through 3 weeks. And basically no teams look disastrous now through 3 weeks.
Yeah, I guess. There's a few teams who haven't looked so hot.
No, I mean, there's plenty of teams who haven't looked great and who definitely
Miami has not led for 1 second of the
season. Yeah, they do have a slight, I mean, losing your quarterback, you get a little bit of a, and playing
I would say the Cleveland Browns look pretty disastrous. Yeah, that's a team ready to implode.
You know, the upsetting thing is the New York double was 1 week too early.
I know.
Really upsetting.
We're just ahead of the trend.
I might have to bet
trendsetters.
I might have to bet the New York double every week now. And it'll
never hit again. No, the Giants might never win in a game.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the Giants were dying to give that game away in the second half. They did their absolute best. I mean, I think at one point they came up with a stat midway through the fourth quarter. They had something like 26 yards of offense in the second half. They were just begging for the Browns to put together 2 complete drives and win the game. I hated it because, I mean, I had the Browns in some bets and I gave up on that very early. And then as the second half progressed, thought, oh, I might be in with a chance here. They scored the touchdown to get within 1 score. They decided to go for 2, which I know the numbers suggest is the smart move. I hated it. Like, I was like, you're struggling to complete passes. Why are you going to
Didn't they get it?
They did get it. Okay. Yeah, they got it. But I hated it before they did it. I'm just being honest that I did not like the move of going for 2 and then putting yourself in a position to win with a touchdown. Also, I thought to myself, even once they got it, I was like, now you're going to do the most Browns thing ever, which is you're going to get the touchdown and then you're going to miss the extra point when that rolls around. And you're still going to end up tied and you're going to lose in overtime because you're the Cleveland Browns. But Deshaun Watson, you got to give up on him at this point, I think.
Can you?
I think you have to. He's getting booed every pass attempt. So just for his own good. Like, I don't have much sympathy for him as a human being, but for his mental health and for the health of the rest of his teammates, I mean, it can't make you play your best to literally every incomplete pass is just getting booed. Their offensive line at the moment, mostly through injury, is terrible. So he's also not getting a lot of help in terms of the amount of time he has and the protection he has. But every sack just gets him booed too. So just bring Jameis Winston in. It would at least bring a fun factor back to the Browns that they are sorely, sorely missing.
Oh, God. I got to hear more about how funny and amazing Jameis Winston is.
Quirky.
You know what? Like, it was funny at first. like that he is kind of quirky, but now like, everything he does is like, oh my God, isn't he so funny? Like yesterday I saw someone, one of the Instagram things put up like, oh my God, he's pure comedy gold. And it was him rating the top 10 fast food restaurants, like, like with that stupid thing.
I've
But
seen
nothing
it,
he
yeah.
really said was funny. He was just like, oh, Chick-fil-A. Oh, I love Chick-fil-A. And it's like, oh my God, that's so funny. It's like, no, he's just a human being talking about
Well,
fast food.
the reality is, sensitive topic, he's an idiot. That's the only reason why most of the things he says are slightly amusing is because he's a moron.
But you know what, Eddie? He remembered every single person's name in, where was he? In Tampa? Right? That's who he was drafted by, right?
Yeah.
Remember that it was a Hard Knocks when he got like traded or left or something like that. He knew every single person's name that worked in that stadium.
There's no doubting he is a really nice guy. I mean, I think that's apparent from when you see all the interactions, and his teammates clearly love him because like every team he goes to, he's a very popular figure. But he is an idiot.
Well,
So that's the only reason why
he's
he's mostly amusing. And the one thing I'll give him credit for, I think he's embraced the idiotic side of his personality.
wow,
And he's
double it down. We're definitely not getting him on the podcast now.
well, maybe he wouldn't have, but he's like leaning into that personality side of things. Because I think for a lot of people, the eating the W thing and all the other stuff, that would have been tough to overcome for most people because it's so cringy and embarrassing. But he's managed to just be like, you're right, I do eat W's, and I'm going to eat more W's. Like, I'm going to do so many weird and stupid things that you're not even going to talk about me eating W's anymore because that's so far gone in the list. And it's kind of a smart tactic.
Yeah, but getting back to Titans and Pats, they're pretty much in free fall too. I mean, you talk about Deshaun Watson needs to go. When does the Will Levis experiment end? This guy has more turnovers that are like the most insane turnovers I've ever seen than any QB in like a full year combined. Like week after week, he's just doing this shit that is mind blowing to me.
Well, I do presume, I was just checked it. I presume the Titans still have their first round pick, that they haven't traded away their first round pick for next year. At a certain stage, don't you just go like, we're going to be bad. We may as well be really bad and draft a quarterback next year.
Maybe.
I mean,
and same for the Pats. Draft like a cornerstone O tackle to protect Drake May.
Yeah, they need a full offensive line. So that's a little bit more challenging in a single draft. But yeah,
speaking of classic Bill Simmons, we literally discussed this last week about how after week 1, are the Pats actually better than I thought? I mean, they look pretty competent. They're pretty good. And then this week I heard him say, the Pats are probably the worst team I've seen in like 30 years. He's unreal. The flip-flopping. And then he's like, we don't flip-flop here. Like, we're not people like that who like overreact from week to week.
Yeah. No, he overreacts not even to a full week. He can overreact multiple times and change his opinion within the same week. But no, I mean, it's, and I do want to say that I broke that news. We've broken very few stories on this podcast. However, the discussion we had once about his contract coming to an end with Spotify, rumors and discussion circulating, growing more rampant about Bill Simmons' impending free agency and what that could see happen to.
Should we sign him?
That would be a coup. I would just have him. I want to sign him, and then I just want to have him sit silently in one of these boxes. He wouldn't even talk. We wouldn't even tell.
I just want. No, it'll be the opposite. I won't talk except for just like one sentence I throw out there, and then you two just debate.
The thing is, we probably agree on more than.
You guys are probably like best buds within 2 weeks.
I would love to be. The guy's worth like $500 million and talks about sport all day. I would love for him to be my best buddy. But at the same time, until he is my best buddy, he's my nemesis. That's the way the world works.
No, you definitely become best buddies with Cousin Sal first.
I think I have more in common with Cousin Sal. But anyway, that's enough Simmons podcast talk. But yeah, back to the NFL.
Wait. I got to do one. I got to do one more Simmons. Say we pull the coup and we sign him, and then we get him, but we also get Mallory Rubin, and she has to be on every podcast.
No.
Do you do it?
Nope. No, he would have to pay me more than $100 million just to. I can't even listen to podcasts she's on, let alone be on one with her. Like that would just be an absolute no-go for me.
I just don't get it. I just don't get why people don't just say like, stop laughing like that.
That's a tough thing to say to someone, especially to a colleague.
Someone's got to.
I've worked with a lot of people with annoying character traits, and I've probably had plenty of character traits that have annoyed other colleagues, and I've never had someone be like, can you just like stop talking like that for a while?
Yeah, but when the medium is podcasting,
I know.
It's something that literally makes, like, honestly, I enjoy a lot of what she says. I mean, I listen to a lot of her discuss like Marvel shows or like Lord of the Rings, like Rings of Power. She puts a ton of work and a ton of effort and does a good amount of research and says some really funny stuff and insightful stuff. But every other sentence has like this screeching laugh in it that makes me want to vomit.
Well, that's quite something. All right, enough Ringer universe talk here, because plenty of our listeners will have no idea who we're talking about. So back to the NFL. I also asked you going in, so which teams of the kind of projected playoff teams coming into this season are you now giving no chance to? The Bengals, are they done?
No team has made it to the playoffs since the 17-game season switch. And the last team to go 0-3 to make it was the 2018 Texans. I'm not fully out on the Bengals because they do have a much easier schedule moving forward now. So I don't see that much of a difference between them having been 1-2 versus 0-3. So I'm not fully out on them.
But you say that they just lost to the Commanders. So like that would have gone down as one of the easier games on their schedule, and they just lost.
I know, you're right. But the offense still looks good. You have to hope that something happens with I know they had some injuries. I think both of their D tackles were out yesterday, which you could kind of tell. Austin Eckler, who's like 5'4", was running right through the middle of that defense. I'm not fully out because their offense still does look pretty good, especially that Chase is back now. Higgins is back now, so it opens up Chase a little bit. We'll see. Not fully out. Give me another one.
Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm out on the Cowboys. I love to think the Cowboys are good, and I get suckered in every year to Dak Prescott being a top 3 QB and CeeDee Lamb being the best wide receiver in the NFL, but they look fucking awful. I'll preview here. I think the Giants have a very good chance to beat them. The only thing stopping the Giants from beating them on Thursday is that the Giants, for the past few years, not only do they suck, but they royally suck against the Cowboys. Like, the Cowboys absolutely demolished them. If it weren't for that, honestly, like I might still take the Giants straight up. I might take the Giants double and take them -6.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you right now, never have I been more confident in something. The Duca curse being thrown onto the New York Giants, I'm going to take the Cowboys -15 points.
No, that's a terrible bet. The Cowboys might not score 15 points.
Well, you know, the Giants will do it for them. 12 safeties just to help them out. I'm going to do it. Cowboys -15. But all right, that's the Cowboys assessment. I guess I have to be honest. I have to be, transparent, truthful. 49ers 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be out on the Niners. I'm actually still not that worried about them. I think they can, at the worst, sneak in as a wild card. I mean, I guess you could argue that division is pretty tough, and that could be a tough spot to get some wins. But they got a lot of injuries that hopefully will come back. I know Christian McCaffrey's going to some secret lab in Germany to try and get his Achilles worked on or whatever. But
the Kobe Bryant treatment. Hopefully he doesn't come back and rape someone.
Boy. There we go.
It's okay. As long as he does, if he gives whatever her name is, Christina Colpo. I can't remember which one he's married to.
Olivia.
Come on. As long as he comes after the rape, if he gives her a huge diamond ring, all is forgiven.
Well, they're already married, so
I think Kobe Bryant was too. Maybe I think you give a new ring. That's the.
okay.
It's somewhere in the statutes in the legal. You got to do it in Colorado.
Let's be careful. I'd still rather have both of those people on the podcast.
Well, Kobe Bryant probably not going to make an appearance, so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, is Brock Purdy coming down a little bit? Yes, but I still think he's a very good QB and he's very smart. And they're losing games.
Is he? Do I have to do the Justin Herbert treatment to you and read his stat line and ignore the fact that they lost or that he failed to put together, an important drive at the two crucial moments that he needed to?
You can't. I mean, they were winning that game. They should have won that game. That's not all on him.
I don't think really any of it was on him. I mean, their defense just going to pieces in the fourth quarter. Yes, he had two possessions at the very end where you're like, if you could have just put together, like it's pretty criminal, for example, once the Rams had tied the game, to be giving them the ball back with enough time to get the game-winning field goal. That did involve a pretty good punt return. So there's, that again is not his fault. That under other circumstances, the territory would have been radically different for the Rams. But yeah, you can be critical.
You're up 21-7. You win. You got to win that game.
Yeah, I think the blame goes on the defense for sure. But at the same time, for him, you could say you needed one more. At certain moments, you needed probably just like one more first down, fundamentally. And there was a missed field goal, that would have put the game also out of reach. A 55-yarder, so not a gimme. But nowadays, we just see. I find it so hard to judge with field goals because nowadays, just like every 50 to 55-yarder seems to be good unless you need it to be.
Oh, the stats right now are insane. They're like 80% field goal kickers over 50 yards.
Yeah. I don't find it enjoyable.
Which, what is annoying me about this is they're so good at 50, but yet when it gets close to 60, coaches are still like have that mentality from the 90s. Like 60, no way. It's like, dude, you just saw your kicker kick a 55-yarder right down the middle with like over the bars almost.
Yeah.
like hitting the flags on the post. Like the guy can kick a 75 fucking yarder. There's not much of a difference between 55 and 60. Like it still kind of blows my mind that they hit that 60-yard like limit and they refuse to do. Like there was one, it had to be, I think it was the Eagles, right? At the end of the first half, he had like a 61-yarder. No, it wasn't Eagles. No, it was the Bears. The Bears, because I think they threw it and they missed it by 1 yard. He got DJ Moore, caught it like the 1 yard line, almost got the Hail Mary. But he was at the 45. It was like a 61-yarder. And that kicker had kicked like a 40-yarder or a 50-yarder, and it looked like he'd kicked like an extra point. Like, just let the guy kick, man. Chances are he's going to make it.
Yeah, I also think, too, most of the time when they miss those 60, 65-yarders, it's not distance. It's just that they pull it or push it, which I know in part is because they're having to strain for the extra distance. But the big risks, which is the block, because that's what they always just, you got to kick it at a lower trajectory, so it's far more likely to get blocked. You just don't see them get blocked that often. Like they might miss it, but you don't see it get blocked that often. So particularly in end of half scenarios where it's like, well, there's not really a downside to it missing. It's not like you're suddenly giving the other team an incredible field position. But yeah, I know it's just the risk-averse nature of the NFL, and people not if I make him kick a 60-yarder and he misses it, people are going to be critical of me.
Yeah, give me another one. Actually, the only thing I worry about the Niners is their defense. They're used to be the best defense in the NFL, and they look kind of sus right now.
Well, there's no point throwing the Dolphins into this discussion because they're definitely down.
Forget it.
Given the quarterback situation. I mean, that's kind of it, really, right? Of the
Ravens.
But then after the Cowboys win, now they're 1-2. It's kind of crisis.
Almost blew that game.
They did.
I mean, that's starting to be a worry. Like, put games away. I don't understand how you have Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and you can't put games away.
And I guess talking about the Ravens too, we spoke about this and the importance of why this was a must-win game for them against the Cowboys. Their schedule is really tough.
Yeah,
So they
November
could go from
17th.
it could go from
Mark
one
your
and
calendars, ladies and gentlemen. It's when they ass whoop the Pittsburgh Steelers.
oh boy. I want to see if I can work out the Cowboys Steelers double. Will someone let me place a random bet on both this Thursday night football and a game from November 17th, please? But yeah, no, any other really major talking points from this weekend in the NFL?
Um, you know, I kind of feel for the Arizona Cardinals. I think they're actually a pretty legit team. And just kind of running into some tough teams right now. I think they played the Bills pretty well. And now looking back on it, I think the Bills are one of the better teams in the NFL, and Josh Allen is having an MVP year already. So that's a tough loss. And then smoke the Rams, who then, beat the Niners with half the players that they had the following week. And then a tough loss to the Lions, where I think they actually played the Lions pretty well, and they shut them down for the most part of the game. And I think probably should have won that game. Just one more decent drive on offense. If they could have clicked, I think they win that. So 1-2, but a very strong 1-2.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. They're definitely better than I expected them to be. I guess the big test will be, how do they fare against the Commanders this week? Like if they can't handle that, then the start to the season looks a little bit different. And the person in a sense I kind of feel sorry for is Kyler Murray, because this really might be like his window to be a starting quarterback in the NFL might be pretty small here if he can't have a sustained run of good form with the Cardinals. Then you could just find yourself in the kind of purgatory of backup quarterback who's viewed as being too different from most starters to really be used as a backup, because you have to completely change your system if you brought Kyler Murray in. Plus, he's super undersized, so there would be a lot of skepticism about how effective he could be in different situations. So for him, he could end up having a pretty decent season and then finding himself sort of out of a job.
And I mean, the other one, people are still on the Raiders. Why? They have one weird win against the Ravens, but
yeah,
lost
no,
to
I
the
don't
Chargers
think
and
they're
now
particularly good.
got blown out to the Panthers. And people are still on them. Still think they're a playoff team. What
Yeah,
about them as a playoff team? You have Max Crosby, and that's it.
yeah,
I mean,
no,
did you see the meme of Devontae Adams at half where they were like, Devontae Adams is very much regretting he signed for the Raiders, and it's just this big. It's like it's him. Just I don't know what he's actually doing, but the way it looks, he's just like, what the fuck did I do? Like his eyes are like real bright. It's like, oh my god, it's really funny.
But yeah, no, I think interesting NFL season, but it does make it hard to trust anything really going forward, just because no favorite seems to to be an absolute lock, and even the bad teams have little good bursts of looking somewhat competent. So
Well, I guess the game we didn't talk about that probably deserves is the Vikings Texans. I mean, that was to me. So there are two shocks for me, and that was the Bucks getting steamrolled by the Broncos. I don't know how that happened. I don't get it. Yeah, I think I overrated the Bucks a little bit, but I do not think Denver's that great. So that game was like over when it started. But then the Texans Vikings was pretty much over when it started too, and that was very surprising to me.
it wasn't quite. I mean, the manner in which they won probably surprised me a bit, but I coming into the season, I think people were too fast. I mean, I said it preseason and a couple times already this season. I think we were too fast to just anoint CJ Stroud as the next, superstar quarterback and the Texans as being a legitimate threat in the playoffs on the back of, a pretty good end, sort of 75% of their season last year. And most of those wins having come against not particularly spectacular opposition. So it doesn't completely, I think ultimately I do regret in terms of my preseason estimations of the Vikings, a team that I have had a love-hate relationship with over the last couple of years.
I think everyone has.
I think being quite an optimist about Sam Darnold, I wish I had been more positive about, like, I don't think there's a big drop off between Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold. And this offense has looked really good at times under Kirk Cousins. So why would it look that bad under Sam Darnold? But yeah, I don't know. I don't think, I think the Texans aren't as bad as they looked in that game, but I also don't think they are as good as they looked last season.
Yeah. CJ Stroud sacked 11 times so far in 3 games. So that's not a very good statistic there.
No.
And then lastly, the last thing I want to mention about the NFL, the Arthur Blank inducting himself into the Ring of Honor was such a move. In fact, it was such a move that I saw he offered free hot dog, chips, and Coke to everyone in attendance. Everyone got a free hot dog, soda, and a bag of chips.
You know, obviously doing kind of putting yourself into the Ring of Honor or being involved in the process that would put yourself, I don't know exactly what is, it entails, like who votes on it. But obviously he could have, as owner, said, I don't want this to happen to me right now as the active owner. At the same time, he has played such a big part in that franchise. I can kind of understand it. And part of me would say, do you know what? I don't want this to happen when I'm dead. I want to get to enjoy this. I know I'm a billionaire and I own an NFL team, and really I shouldn't need anything else to be like congratulate myself for or have people applaud me for. But I don't want my kids here being like, oh, we're so proud our dad's in the Ring of Honor. He loved the Atlanta Falcons. Let me enjoy my moment in the sun, because probably his time as owner is not going to involve a Super Bowl. So, let him have the Ring of Honor.
I mean, has it been that amazing? So since he became owner, the Falcons' winning percentage went from 397 to just over 500. So a slight improvement.
That's a pretty big improvement.
The Falcons qualified for the postseason 8 times, including 2004, 2012, and 2016, which were championship games. Made the Super Bowl in 2016, but have never won the Super Bowl, and have won the NFC South 3 times.
Yeah, I mean,
in 23 years, they've won their division 3 times. Is that great?
I think
if he was a coach, is he still a coach?
Well, no, but I mean, no one's really a coach after 23 years, right? But I think because you have to look beyond that too. Built a really
there are coaches after 23 years. They're called winners, Eddie. They win Super Bowls. They win divisions. They wouldn't be a coach for 23 years because they'd be fired because they fucking suck.
Well, I think overall he's been a good owner. I think the stadium, he has that big commitment, right, to having things within the stadium be affordable as well, right? They're often praised for having the hot dog, the chips, and the drink and everything else, that you can go to an Atlanta Falcons game and have a whole meal and a drink for $16 or whatever it is. Like he wants to make sure that you're not pricing people out of attending Atlanta Falcons games. So I think overall, pretty positive owner. I mean,
78 and 101 in the last 11 years.
Ultimately, he's the owner, right? I think the record isn't. I don't think it is the be all and end all of the assessment of a good owner. I think it's sort of how much of an impact does the team have on the community? What are you doing in terms of the stadium stuff? What kind of feel are you creating around the team? Because there have definitely been some fun moments, Falcons moments within that time period. He's probably a little bit unfortunate that Michael Vick had the off the field goings on that probably robbed them of an even better record during that time period had they stayed good with Vick as quarterback. And
Vic's back on Fox now. Unbelievable. Unreal.
That's a big turnaround. It's a big turnaround.
It's unreal. How does that happen?
America is a very forgiving place sometimes.
It's amazing.
It's especially amazing because people hate people who hurt dogs. Like, I would have thought you would have an easier time. And look, there's plenty of, I mean, there's some pretty awful characters that appear on TV to talk about the NFL, from abusers to murderers but I would have thought the dog thing, just because of how emotive that is for so many people, that the dog thing would have been impossible to recover from. All right. So NFL wrapped up. Speaking of questionable characters, we had a very testy,
No, new favorite villain.
yeah, we had a very testy match between Arsenal and Manchester City at the weekend. It finished 2-2. Um, Arsenal came from behind. Haaland produced a goal in a big match against a good opponent. It looked like he was about to respond to all the criticism on this podcast. And then Arsenal went 2-1 ahead. Then Trossard was sent off. And then we had a backs to the wall defensive effort from Arsenal for 45 minutes, where they came just
Plus.
short as John Stones scored with about a minute to go to
Yeah.
have it end in 2-2.
So, all right, let me start first. Let's see. I'm going to break this down a little bit for you. First 45 minutes before the Trossard red card, how do you rate the match?
Yeah, I thought it was really exciting. I thought both teams were giving it a go. I think City were a little sloppy. I think that was a pretty good Arsenal performance.
Different than what we've seen them in the past on how they play City, for sure.
Yeah, they had a bit more confidence. They were actually trying to win a match in the opening half, which is the first time they've ever tried to do that. So, they get a gentle golf applause for spending hundreds of millions of pounds and actually trying to win a football match against a good team. So congratulations.
That's another team that spent hundreds of millions of pounds.
Yeah, but City give it a go against everyone. So look, if you're going to get the checkbook out and sign the big players, I do expect you to show up with a little bit of attacking, fortitude at times, and not just, oh, they're good too, we better sit back and hope for the best. So there's.
But you love the Steelers.
Well, that's different because they're not spending. The Steelers haven't just spent. If the Steelers had just signed a quarterback and paid him, $65 million a year, then I would question, well, what are you doing? Like, if the Steelers had Dak Prescott, then I think differently. But when you're City and when you're Arsenal and you are investing heavily in every area of your team, and you love to talk about, because here's the other thing, and every Arsenal fan, a lot of what I'm about to say over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'm directing specifically at Arsenal supporters, but they love to talk about, well, we play great football. We play football the right way. We're a real football club. We do things the right way. We have Arsenal DNA. This is how we play football. We play football the Arsenal way. Oh, yeah, until you play.
Great accent work, by the way.
I'm not really doing an accent. But until they do all of that, until they play against a good team. And then, forget that. We'll just defend. They did against Atalanta in the week in the Champions League as well. It's like, yeah, great. Well, let's schedule a match against Wrexham and beat them on their documentary 9-0 and then rave about yourselves for a bit.
But so here's my question is why are you so against that? Like, sometimes a good strategy is to let a team wear themselves out when you have a defense that can hold. Let a team wear themselves out, and then you just pick them apart on counterattacks when you need to, when it's necessary. Like, I don't think that's a bad move against teams that, especially when a team either thinks they're superior or thinks they have a better attacking forwards, that they'll want to push the ball. Go ahead, let them push it, because you're not going to break us. You can push and you can wear yourself down. You're not going to break us, and then when you least expect it, boom, we're going to counter, we're going to score, and next thing you know, it's going to be 2-0 and you've lost.
Don't disagree with you. And plenty of teams have done that, and I've actually kind of enjoyed watching them. Like, I have enjoyed watching Jose Mourinho manage teams throughout his career, where mostly it's kind of what he does. He's a bit of an anti-football manager. His teams will play good football at times, but for the most part, he wants you to be defensively solid.
He's an anti-football manager, or he's anti-football manager?
Well, he might be both. But,
okay.
But he, where the focus is on spoiling, and I don't mind that, but but I want you to be genuine about that. Jose Mourinho owns that. That's who he is. And he talks about it with pride. And he speaks about, he takes a huge amount of pleasure in putting his team out in a way that's tactically challenging for their opponent, and sort of trying to take away your best weapons to then hit you with a counterattack or a counterpunch or, whatever it is. But Arsenal, when they speak about themselves, again, they talk about Arteta free-flowing football, all the attacking talent we have, the quality of football we play. Oh, it's so exciting to watch Saka on this wing and Martinelli on that wing and Odegaard pulling the strings in midfield and all the talk. Yes, they love to talk about how good Gabriel and Saliba are, but fundamentally the talk is like, we play such good attacking football. We're the best team in England. They want to tell you that over and over. We're the best team in England and we play great football until you play a good team. So if they owned it, if they were like, well, you know what, we're flat track bullies. We're going to score 7 against Nottingham Forest. But when we play a good team, we shut up shop and we're going to try and hold on to a 1-0 win. And
so you'd be okay if they said, like, we're the most adaptable team in English football.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. But the fact is I can understand why all the City fans, City players fucking hate them. Because you have to week in, week out, listen to them talk about how fucking good they are. And they haven't won anything. But they talk about it like I'm totally on board with Erling Haaland telling Arteta to stay humble at the end of the match. I'm totally on board. I would have not only thrown the ball at the back of Gabriel's head, I probably would have kicked his head off in my goal celebration. And you have, Bernardo Silva, who normally doesn't get anywhere close to any level of controversy, who doesn't say negative, seems like the nicest guy on the football pitch. There's this little guy who goes about his business, kind of doesn't
you have to take a small guy shot at him, right?
It's not a small guy shot.
Unnecessary.
He spoke about the difference between how our City don't have that level of animosity towards Liverpool, even though they had an intense rivalry with Liverpool for several seasons, but have developed this level of hatred really for Arsenal in a fairly quick period of time. And he said Liverpool have already won a Premier League title and Arsenal haven't. Liverpool have won a Champions League and Arsenal haven't. This is why the rivalry has been different. Also, let me add that Liverpool always face us with clear intention of winning the game. So you can tell the City players are bothered not only by the fact that they're having to be thrown into the discussion of comparison with a team that's won nothing, but also then playing them and being like, you're not even taking us on. You want to talk all this big talk in the press in the months building up to these games, and then you show up and you park the bus. If you're so much better than us, prove it.
Okay, let's get back to the first 45 minutes. I thought it was a pretty even match, and I agree with you. I think Arsenal definitely were trying to maybe actually prove that they are the better club for the first time. Maybe
they were giving it a little bit of a go. But I'll also say this supremely, and Arsenal supporters also, City don't get bad decisions.
Oh, there's that good accent work again.
City don't get, it's more of voice work than accent work, but just in case anyone out there wants to hire me for voiceover work, I am the most adaptable voice out. I'm the Arsenal of voices. Put it that way. But, I'll talk a big game leading up to when we record the voice, but then the voice will be exactly the same for every character that I put out there. But Arsenal supporters, including in this match, love to complain. Well, we don't get the benefit of the doubt in the refereeing decisions. Trossard gets sent off for kicking the ball away, but then there's a week ago where one of our players kicked the ball away and then he didn't get a yellow card because it wasn't against City, and City players do it and they don't get yellow cards, even though there's a list of 25 players who've been booked so far this season for kicking the ball away and delaying the restart, which is clearly what Trossard did because our City were in an attacking position 2-1 down.
You're jumping the gun, Eddie. We haven't gotten to this yet.
But to go back, we can talk about that in more detail. But the refereeing involved in that equalizer for City, I think it's equalizer, yeah. When Kyle Walker gets called over to speak to the referee and then isn't given the time to get back into position from the free kick, is outrageously poor refereeing. When a referee specifically says,
jumping the gun here.
When the referee what do you want me to? You want me to speak about the first half, but not talk about anything in the first half? But when
the play.
But when the referee says, "Come and talk to me," not you have decided to go and speak to them. You have to be given the opportunity for the referee to be like, "You're ready for the restart? Okay, let's go." Not you can go when you're ready. to the attacking team. I mean, it's so stupid. It was poor refereeing from start to finish in the match. Both teams suffered from it, I will say. But yeah, I don't think Arsenal fans can walk away from that being like, well, if we'd had a good referee, we would have won.
So, yeah, I mean, so the next thing I want to bring up is Michael Oliver, who is the ref for that match. And very, I'll say, not so good ref performance there. The start of the match, it looked like it was going to be like a fucking cage match, Royal Rumble. I mean, he was letting everything go. There were 2 really hard fouls within the first 5 minutes that he completely let go. And it seemed like that was how it was going to go. But I think what happened is as soon as he realized that it was going to get physical, it started getting more physical. And then he kind of was like, oh shit, what precedent have I set here? I've got to get this back. And I don't actually have a problem with that, because then he started calling not softer, but less egregious fouls and calling them than ones that he let go before. But he was still being consistent with it. Like both teams were getting called for it. It wasn't like one team versus the other. I was okay with it. But then the Arsenal equalizer in the first half was, I still don't fully understand what happened. And this is what bothers me about European football or soccer. You give American football a lot of shit for, I think, like the overemphasis on like refereeing calls and reviews and things like that. I don't understand how in a sport that is taken so seriously, you can do things like just put a ball wherever on the pitch after a foul, and that's fine. Like that fucking blows my, like that there's no real consistency and thoroughness in saying like the foul was here, put the ball here, wait until I blow the whistle. It's like, well, the foul was kind of over there, so Arsenal put the ball 15 yards to this side and don't wait for the whistle and play the ball, but it's football. We'll let it go. How the fuck do you just let it go?
So here's the problem I have. So if you really were if you were just like too pedantic about like where you take the free kick from, right, the game would grind to a halt. So there has to be some degree of leniency, and that for the most part, 5 yards here, 5 yards there for an indirect free kick around the halfway line or your own half, it probably isn't making a difference, right? That being said, when you are taking huge chunks out of the pitch, I think you need to say like, hold on, you're pushing this a bit. Like let's be within the realms of acceptability here. And at times teams, you do see, I mean, you see them even in attacking positions where players will scoot the ball forward a couple of yards. And the thing people be like, well, 1 yard doesn't make a difference. Sometimes it's like, it's not the distance you need to really think about. It's they're trying to get the angle they like or a distance that they really like. So it's like telling a golfer, it's like as if you said to John Rahm, you're 100 yards from the green, but we'll let you take your next shot anywhere from 90 to 110, assuming you don't really significantly improve the lie. Like fairway or fairway, but you know, like, and he goes, oh, that's perfect because 90 is my wedge. Like that's the distance I love. And sometimes with free kick takers, it's like, well, maybe he doesn't love it from 33 yards, but he loves 32, 31. So that's getting him into a distance that he really likes, or he likes scooting it over by a few inches so that he opens up the angle nicely. And in particular, you see players in attacking positions, like they let the wall get set and then they just scoot the ball a little bit. So the goalkeeper set it, kind of judge the angle, set the wall, and then he's pushed the ball over for 3 inches. It doesn't look like a lot, but for the angle that he's then opened up relative to where the wall is, it's huge. And same, you'll see even when they're going to cross the ball onto the box. Yeah, it's an extra yard away from the touchline. It just makes it that little bit easier to put the ball in the way you want to do it. So the football could definitely do a better job of kind of being strict on take the free kick from where the foul was committed. They do. It's even worse with throw-ins.
Oh my God, throw-ins.
Throw-ins. It's like take it from there, and then the guy picks the ball up there, and then sprints 10 yards with the ball in his hand and throws the ball forward. It's outrageous at times.
No, it's and I will push back in the sense that, especially now with the VAR, the booth or whatever in the ref's ear, it is very easy to like, okay, you've got a free kick. The guy grabs the ball, walks over, right in his ear. Ref gets, no, tell him he's got to back up 5 yards. boom, back up 5 yards. That's it. What'd that take? 5 seconds? You know, like I would understand 15 years ago, maybe that's an issue. It's tough. Like if the ref's making a call, he doesn't see where the foul is. He knows it's in this area, but you have so much technology at your disposal right now that you can very quickly just say, no, that's not the spot. Yes, that's the spot. Good enough, whatever. Like the fact that there is no consistency, I think is just so ridiculous. And then the whistle blowing, like the whole fact of, did he blow his whistle? Did he not? Kyle Walker kind of says he didn't. He was being called over. Like, how as a ref do you just let that happen and just say, like, I just let him play on? Like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, it's tough too, right? Because even with free kicks, you have times where the referee tells you, wait till I blow my whistle before you can take it. And other times they say, yeah, you can take it when you want. So you can't even know when you're watching it as a fan whether or not the player has, taken any liberties in terms of the way he's approached the free kick. And obviously you have big incidents of that sometimes where like the goalkeeper is setting a wall and shooting ones, and then the player just takes it and the referee said, well, I did tell you he could take it when he wanted to. It's like, that's not fair.
Easy fixes. It's always on the whistle. Easy fix.
I wouldn't hate that
rule.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. But then particularly with the Kyle Walker one, it's like, look, if you're going to call the player over, if you're going to say, Captain, come and speak to me, and then that's okay. You have the right to do that. Delay the game for a second and say, calm things down. Let's kind of get your player settled. If you give the captain that instruction, then part of his responsibility is to turn to his players and say, hey, the referees just told me, let's cool it. So next few minutes, be sensible. You can't then, while he's saying that, go ahead with the free kick.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because then part of a ref's responsibility then is if you're calling the captain over, he obviously does have to give that information to his players, but then as a ref, you are also responsible then to let that player get back into the position that he should be in. Like you can't call someone over and be like, and now you're fucked. So yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And look, and something similar happened in rugby a couple of years ago. I think it was in the Six Nations, England. I think it was Wales. It might have been England, France, when similarly, like they called the captain over and then he's kind of going back to give instructions to his players and they've allowed them to take the free kick quickly. But or penalty, whatever it was. And Kyle Walker, I think his response to that was right because he kind of did get back into position. It's like, yeah, he's sort of back into position, but you can tell he's still communicating a message either to the referee or to the City players. He's not sort of fully refocused. And as Kyle Walker rightly pointed out, would it have been the same if he'd been a goalkeeper? Would you call the goalkeeper over and say, hey, you're the captain, come and talk to me? And then go ahead and play. I know I've just called the goalkeeper to the halfway line. Tough shit. Don't have the goalkeeper be your captain. That's
but Eddie, how many Arsenal fans have you heard say, hey, you know what? We didn't like that red card, but that quick start we got for that goal, we'll give that one to you as well.
Yeah, none. Because they're assholes. Because I really mean this. So fans, supporters of teams are very rarely objective and honest in their assessment, right? But Arsenal ones, they're delusional. I
love it.
Declan Rice a couple weeks ago, people, how was he sent off? The Brighton player should have been sent off for kicking him. No, he was a little twat and he kicked the ball away. He knew what the Brighton player was trying to do. And he's tried to stop the quick free kick taking. And he doesn't have the decency even post-match to go, yeah, I was a bit of a dick there. I did kick the ball away. Even afterwards, why is that a red? You know what you were doing. The referee even was when you listen to the audio from that Brighton match, he's apologetic to Declan Rice. He's like, I'm going to send you off. I'm so sorry. But you didn't give me a choice. You did it. And Declan Rice doesn't go, yeah, you got me. I don't know why I've just tried to stop a quick free kick, that the right back is taking 75 yards away from my own goal when we're 1-0 up in the 48th minute against Brighton. I don't know why I've decided to do that, but I have. And now I have to pay the price. And the same with the Trossard one. It's people kick the ball away all the time, but you know what you're doing. You know you've just fouled a player. You know you're already booked. And then you decided to just, because no one can try and tell me, he was playing on. He fucking hoofs the shit out of the ball. He's not doing that if he thinks that the free kick hasn't been given.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, it's a combination of both too. I mean, he clearly just demolishes. Was that Silva?
Might have been. I can't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he just clearly throws a strong shoulder / elbow into his back. Like, that was a pretty hard challenge. And then on top of it, boots the ball to no man's land. I mean, I am 100% in agreement with you. There is no way you say that he was playing the ball, because he kicks it 50 feet over Arteta's head. Who's he playing it to? The sixth row in the stands?
Yeah.
Like, no. The combination of that, I think, definitely deserves a yellow. Those two combined within 3 seconds of each other, that's a yellow, no matter what. I mean, that is.
And I mean, and Arsenal, I've seen multiple Arsenal fans on social media be reposting a clip. If it was from, I think, from a week ago, Liverpool against Nottingham Forest, and I can't remember which Liverpool player it is, but the free kick's given for a foul, and the Liverpool player crosses the ball in, and he's not booked. And Arsenal fans going, "Oh, inconsistency. They're like so excited. Inconsistency, bias. Oh, conspiracy theory. The Premier League doesn't want us to win the title." Liverpool were losing 1-0 against Nottingham Forest with like 3 minutes to go. You think they're time wasting? They're going, "Oh, actually, you know what? This is a pretty decent result. Let me just kick the ball out away so that Nottingham Forest take this free kick even more slowly. That will help us. Let's play possum for a bit and lull them into a false sense of security so we can hit them on the break for a quick couple of goals." So there has to be context.
Let's get on to the last talking point here. Erling Haaland.
Loved it. Loved it. I love players. Like, the thing that I loved about this match too, this was like a real throwback to what it felt like watching the Premier League when I was younger, where like Manchester United and Arsenal hated each other. Manchester United, Arsenal, Chelsea all hated each other. Manchester United, Liverpool, even though Liverpool weren't really title contenders, didn't like each other. Even when Blackburn were good, didn't like Manchester United. There wasn't quite the same degree of animosity, but it still wasn't a good. But like the really intense rivalries, Manchester United, Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, those teams disliked each other. The managers disliked each other, and it made the games more enjoyable. They were fierce. You could tell, like, there's too many handshakes and hugs in modern sport, right? And this was like a throwback where you're just like, they hate each other. Like, this is more than just about this football match. These players hate each other. And I love it from Haaland because 2 reasons. One, he's getting, because I hate the term shithousery that gets thrown around all the time now, of like players trying to get other people riled up and stuff. It just bothers me as a term. But Haaland is trying to get under the skin of his opponents, but he's willing to back it up. And I just love seeing he clearly hates the Arsenal players, and he's willing to show it, and throwing the ball in the back of the head. I do think he's lucky to have no punishment there for that. I mean, former guest on the podcast, we have had a former guest who was sent off for doing something similar 2 seasons ago. So I think he's a bit fortunate that there were no repercussions from that, but I think it should be allowed. I loved it when they then kicked off immediately after, when he just barged into that Arsenal player.
Well, what I really loved about that was a fuck around and find out moment. Because I forget who it was. I can't remember. I saw it yesterday, but whoever it was, like, the ball's played and Haaland like does his like, I'm gonna sprint to try and get this ball, and that guy's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna sprint? I'm gonna step in front of you." And Haaland is just like, "Yeah, fuck around and find out," and just fucking steamrolls him. That was so good, because that Arsenal player was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like step in front of him and kind of like knock him off," and I don't think Haaland even flinched. It was so good. Like, I love moments like that when guys want to pretend that they're like tough or being a dick, and then they just get bitch slapped.
Yeah, and he's a big guy, right? And also goes and chops wood in the Norwegian wilderness in the off season.
And
I have no doubt.
Wood.
I have no doubt that even though will have had a fairly pampered childhood as the son of a former professional footballer, I have no doubt he could handle himself a little bit better than most professional footballers could in an on the pitch scrap. But I do agree with you. And then I also liked just the disdain that he was looking at Lewis Skelly when Lewis Skelly was talking to him, and he was like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like, I don't know who you are. Why are you talking to me? And like, when you've broken the Premier League goal scoring record, when you're scoring a goal at 1.5 goals a game, you can talk to people like that. Like, I hated how afterwards some Arsenal fans also, when he told Arteta to stay humble, and they're like, who's Haaland to tell Arteta to stay humble? I'm just like, I don't know, possibly the greatest goal scorer in the history of the Premier League.
He's won a treble.
Yeah, he's won the champion. He's won the Champions League. He's won back-to-back Premier Leagues. He's kind of just dominating the scoring in all competitions. And yeah, Arteta had a decent Premier League career, but it wasn't anything to write home about. I mean, I out of the two of them, I know which one of them is going to be remembered more.
So the stay humble, also like that?
So yes and no. I think
you don't like to respect your elders.
I think you could be a bit classier in the moment, but at the same time, because they just hate each other, as long as they just fully embrace, and this is what I like about Haaland, is I think he is just going to be the villain for this. He has no problem. There's no apology afterwards. There's no, with hindsight, maybe I shouldn't have said it stuff. It's just going to be, no, I don't like them. I'm never going to like them. And it's going to be like this every match. And until they win something, I'm going to tell them to stay humble every single time. That I'm fine with. It could be a bit classier, but whatever.
What do you then like when the Arsenal players try to defend their manager and he just tells them to shut the fuck up too?
I also liked, again, I've been down some social media comment sections a bit post this match, and you had a couple Arsenal players trying to stand up for Arteta. Gabriel Jesus, okay, it kind of makes sense. Former City player, maybe it's it makes sense for him to kind of be a little bit of a peacekeeper in that under those circumstances. But then all the Arsenal fans, I mean, they were just getting so worked up in the comment sections because then Ben White kind of came over, and then Arteta told Ben White to step away, and all
get back in the tanning booth.
All the comment sections were, oh, Arteta saw the look in Ben White's eyes. He knew he was going to fuck Haaland up. Really? Ben White, the guy who, as you just pointed out, spends more time in the tanning booth than he does on the training pitch probably, and kind of doesn't have the gumption to play for England in international tournaments unless he's guaranteed to start. You think he's going to do anything to Erling Haaland, who's probably 6 inches taller than him, 50 pounds heavier than him? I mean, give me a break. He would be broken in half. I mean, it's just...
Ben White's 6 foot, which is actually surprising. I thought he was going to be like 5'10", but
yeah,
he's listed at 6 foot.
How tall is Haaland?
6'4".
Yeah, they're fighting in different weight classes. If this is if this is going in a cage, this is not allowed to happen. So, yeah, just overall, just they're so into themselves, Arsenal fans. And look, I like it. I truly am a neutral when it comes to watching Premier League, but I hate them. And I love that because I almost love hating something more than I love loving something. So Arsenal are actually giving me more pleasure out of this Premier League season than I could have if Blackburn were back in it. So for that, I have a lot to thank Arsenal for.
I guess the real question is, when is the replay?
Well, I mean, it's probably subject to quite a bit of change, right? Given the fact that with rescheduling, but at the moment, that match is projected to take place on
February 1st.
Yeah. But no, and look, it sets the Premier League up
early,
deliciously.
That kind of sucks. It's a bit of a little too early.
But it's
Could you
close
imagine
enough.
if it were like April?
I would say
February. And they were still like super close. Like, what was that? Was that 2 years ago or last year?
Last year, when
that was last
Arsenal
year.
Shat the bed and wouldn't even put a player in the opposition half.
Yeah.
Which I will say, there's lots of clips, I clipped some of them myself of just every Arsenal player in their own box. And I know you're down to 10 men, but give me a break. I watched Blackburn play against Preston earlier that day on Sunday.
Here we go.
Preston were also down to 10 men for half the match. Preston didn't have every one of their players in their own box. And they, you know what they managed to do? They didn't concede. So, give them a bit of credit. And that had some animosity because one of the Preston players bit a Blackburn player at the end of the match. So, again, they had more bite.
Bit him in a nice way or a bad way?
Back of it's not a good way. But yeah. And I mean, the other big takeaway from that match, right? It's kind of as you were in a lot of respects. I think doesn't really harm either one of them from a Premier League title perspective. But Rodri getting injured and out for the season, seemingly, that's a huge blow to City. That's going to be a big.
That was tough.
Yeah, that's a big hole for them to replace. They can't really. I mean, Kovacic will do a decent job filling the gap until January, but it means likely that City are going out and spending some money on a central midfielder on the upcoming transfer window.
Yeah, I guess. And then, I mean, other minor talking points, Liverpool and Aston Villa won again. So they have tried to keep the gap.
Late comeback for Villa. I kind of didn't even notice it happen because I wasn't paying too much attention when they were 1-0 down with 7 minutes to go. And then next thing I knew, I looked and they were winning. And yeah, Liverpool, week on from their embarrassing performance against Nottingham Forest, were good again. So, I guess you would say if you're Liverpool, that was the best possible outcome of the Arsenal-Manchester City match, is that they both drop points. Elsewhere in other sports, well, I guess also worth saying in Premier League news, Ben Brereton Diaz, former Blackburn Rovers player, deserves a bit of credit. He's broken a Premier League record. He has the longest streak of Premier League appearances without being on the winning side. He's now played in 18 Premier League matches and hasn't won a single one of them. So,
wow, really?
Yeah. His form so far as a Premier League player is drawn, lost, drawn, lost, drawn, lost, 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 lost. It's not bad.
Speaking of which, I think it's the 20-year anniversary of the season premiere of Lost.
What a transition that would have been.
I think literally today or yesterday.
Didn't plan that one. Other sports news. Did you see? Speaking of stand-up guys, we had a little bit of Kobe Bryant talk. Brett Favre, did you see he announced he has Parkinson's?
Yeah, I did see it. A very weird update I got on my ESPN. It was like Brett Favre testifies to Congress he has Parkinson's. It's like, what?
I loved it because it's basically him being like, okay, I know I've been accused of fraud here. I don't think I committed fraud, but also, just in case, I think you should know, in addition to this whole fraud thing, I've lost money investing in a concussion drug, and that was important to me because I have Parkinson's. Like it's like, we're talking about your fraud here. Like the Parkinson's is not relevant. Yeah. But sad, obviously. I also saw a statistic, Shohei Ohtani, who's had this remarkable
50-50 first ever.
Yeah, but like remarkable 5-game run. He has in the last 4 games, he has 6 stolen bases, 5 home runs, 8 RBIs. And I saw that if you took every baseball player since the RBI was a recorded statistic, which it started in 1920, and you gave them their very best run of 4 games, none of them would match the output that Shohei Ohtani has had over the last 4 games.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Considering sometimes players get like a massive game, where they get like 3 home runs, 10 RBIs or something.
Yeah. No, it's crazy for him to have like that combination of statistical output and just the sheer number of people like, oh, 1920 is all. But when you consider that teams are playing 162 games a year, and you're right, like there's random players who get called up. It's like, oh, in his first 4 games, he hit 6 home runs, and then you never hear from them again.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's pretty exciting. Like the exciting part of baseball for me watching just like Instagram highlights, because I don't actually watch the games, is these runs that Judge and Ohtani are going on towards the end of this season. And it just really makes me think, and I know this is probably not accurate, but it's like when they really want to turn it on, like the season's, oh shit, I've got 20 games left and I want to get to 60 home runs. Let me start dialing it in. And it looks like they can genuinely just dial it in. It makes you wonder, maybe it's not worth playing 162 games. If you just played 80 and told them to play every game 100%, maybe you get more exciting baseball.
Yeah. Oh, I think definitely the season needs to be shortened. But I also know it's annoying for people who aren't like super passionate about a sport to be like, this is how you should fix your sport. Because I deal with that all the time, including when Bill Simmons tries to fix tennis. It's like, dude, you watch 4 tennis matches a year. Don't tell me how to fix the sport. But anyway, other random sports news: Reggie Bush suing the NCAA and USC, trying to, as he claims that they owe him compensation as a result of money they made off his name, image, and likeness during his time in college football.
Good for him, still trying.
I don't know how I feel about this one. Like, I agree that college football players and college athletes deserve to be able to make, especially from the name, image, and likeness stuff. It was always really stupid that you couldn't, sell your signature or make money somehow away from, like, as a result of becoming a star. It was always dumb. But that was the rule that was in place. He broke the rules at the time. He's now got his Heisman back already, which I guess this is while they'll be kicking themselves about the Heisman, because from a legal perspective, I'm sure a lawyer has said to him, now that they've given their that Heisman back, that's an admission that they were wrong, and we're going to drill that home in a court case. So, like, that was the thing. You just told them, I just want my trophy. And eventually they're like, give him his trophy. It's like, got him. Because what I really want is $100 million. Like, that's. But I don't know. I think I would also feel differently if this weren't Reggie Bush. He definitely should have been able to make money while he was in college, but he's gone on to have a reasonably successful NFL career, still appears in the media. It's like, do you need money?
You know who needs this? Johnny Football.
Yeah, well, he would just spend that on things he shouldn't. You know who might need this? Bryce Young.
Tua.
Yeah.
No, Tua just signed a big contract. He's fine. But Bryce Young might need it.
Yeah. But no, I kind of, if this were some guy from the 60s or 70s or something who's like, look, I played in the NFL for a while and made $250,000 and I've been selling used cars for the last 15 years. It would be kind of cool if I could have a little bit of the money that maybe I could have earned.
Arrington.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, Reggie Bush, you can take your net worth from $35 million to $60 million if you win this case. $35 million, probably a low estimate for Reggie Bush's net worth, but who knows? How much of the WNBA playoffs have you been watching?
I watched a little bit of game 1 of the Fever as they got thrashed. Caitlin Clark has a black eye.
Those nails will get you.
That's not right, Eddie. Come on, don't be sexist.
But it was her nail.
Don't gotta be sexist, Eddie.
Look, if Caleb Williams scrapes a defensive lineman in the eye in the course of the NFL season, I'll make the same comment. All right, any other sporting news to discuss?
No real sporting news. I mean, obviously, NFL and Premier League are the 2 main talking points right now.
What about in non-sporting?
Yeah, so I don't know if we talked about this. A few weeks ago, I saw the new Alien movie, Romulus.
You mentioned it briefly.
Yeah, thought that was very good. And then this weekend saw Beetlejuice 2, or Beetlejuice.
I've heard bad reviews about that particular movie.
It's okay. It's fine. The issue I kind of have is the first one, yes, is a quirky Tim Burton movie, but it's also kind of raunchy. And I don't think people see that anymore. Like, the first time Beetlejuice appears in the first Beetlejuice movie, he's literally like looking up Gina Davis's skirt and like grabbing her ass. Like,
you can't do that anymore.
But it was an adult movie, right?
Yes.
And I think what's come out of the Beetlejuice cultism is that it's now more like a family movie. So this one was definitely more family friendly. It like kind of felt a little more like Casper than like the original.
They should bring Casper back. Why haven't they rebooted Casper?
Yeah, I don't know. Since JTT was the last Casper.
Well, JTT could play Casper from the grave.
Yikes.
There's a guy, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Hottest property. It sounds so weird to say, but like when we were 10 years old or whatever, I remember every girl I went to school with, my sister, everyone, just what a dreamboat. Constant talk, posters everywhere. That guy just talking about not following up on a, fulfilling early promise in your career. That's going to be a hard one for Jonathan Taylor Thomas sometimes.
His last anything. So his last movie was in 2005.
Oof.
His last TV show was 2005, but then he came back and he was on Last Man Standing from 2013 to 2015 that aired on Fox. And that was the last thing he's done.
And don't get me wrong, that's probably the dream life, right? Because I'm assuming he made a good amount of money as a kid, and now he gets to just go and do whatever he wants in his life, and people won't bother him. But everyone's, that's such a distinct name and probably the big benefit, he can go abroad. No one knows who Jonathan Taylor Thomas is. But if you're in the US and you're speaking to anyone between the ages of, say, 30 to 50, and you're like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. What's your name? You're like, I'm Jonathan Taylor Thomas. You'd be like, oh my God. I loved Home Improvement. It's got to be.
So he was not seen in public for many years. And this was in 2023. He was seen in public.
Well, Jonathan Taylor Thomas needs a reboot. To be honest with you, though, that might
he just looks like a middle-aged guy. He's got to be, what, 40?
Oh, older. I think he's
43.
a little older than us. Makes sense. But, and also those are like unflattering photos. You're just out picking up a coffee. Like, I always do feel sorry for celebrities, and he looks like shit. It's like, yeah, do you look great every time you go to the grocery store? And also, that when they then publish those images, they're like, wait till he bends his neck just like that, so he looks fat as shit. Wait till he bends over, and oh my God, look at his belly. Like, it's not like they probably took 4 good photos of him. They're like, fuck those good photos. Put out the shit ones.
But yeah, I mean, overall, it was fine, Beetlejuice. It was, like I said, it was more family-friendly type of comedy, a little less quirky, raunchy that the first one was. But yeah, I didn't dislike it. I mean, I'm not a huge Beetlejuice fan going in. I'm not part of that Beetlejuice cult. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was kind of funny.
I'll probably give it a miss. Maybe on an airplane. Maybe it would meet the airplane.
Decent airplane movie.
Yeah. I'll never watch this under any other circumstances, but it's here. Can it kill 2 hours for me?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though, that William Dafoe, man, he's a good actor. He could be one of the best actors of this generation that doesn't get talked about enough. He can do anything. Like in this one, he's playing a dead person who is now a detective who in his real life was an actor who played a dopey detective in a TV show. And he just plays it so good. It's there's little layers into it, and he's just so good at it. I think he's the best in the movie by far. And anything he's in, he's really, really good.
Oh, well, he's your new Justin Herbert by the sounds of it.
No, I've always liked William Dafoe. I don't think he gets enough credit.
Well, I haven't had really any TV. My YouTube watching shows in installments now. I've transitioned to Mythbusters. Now just watching mini.
Wait, are you myth-busting Mythbusters?
No, I just watch the mini experiments and go, that wasn't really that interesting. Which was always I kind of liked Mythbusters for a while, but ultimately my takeaway was A, I don't think that's a real myth, and B, that wasn't that interesting in the end. It was a lot of my reaction to the concept. The original conceit of the show was excellent, and then it was kind of I don't think you can do this for 15 seasons, but they tried.
I think my issue with Mythbusters is they would have these cool myths or things that they wanted to disprove and be oh, this is going to be really cool. But then the way they ended up doing it, the setup ended up being disappointing.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, like, like plane crashes, but then they don't actually crash the plane. Like they do, like, but you know what I mean, right? Like it's like
Kill
that
yourselves.
kind of stuff.
No, I do agree with you. But the other thing, speaking of plane crashes, I thought that obviously the algorithm feeds me plane crashes at sometimes. I'm having to take a break from this. Please do follow the Big Chill podcast on Instagram or Twitter. We are occasionally active on Twitter, but I'm taking a little bit of a break from it because it's impossible for me to look at our Twitter, or X, formerly known as Twitter feed, without just constant P Diddy related like allegations and videos now.
Yeah.
It's like, and none of them are even that interesting. And you kind of, every once in a while, you got to bite and be like, let me see what supposedly this person did. Like Justin Bieber canceled P Diddy allegations. I've also got to say, with Usher and P Diddy, so far all I can see is that potentially all that happened to them is like they were taken advantage of as young men. It's like, why are they getting canceled? It's like, oh, Justin Bieber got abused, canceled. Like,
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
So a lot of this is that Justin Bieber or a young Usher, there's like a lot of these videos supposedly circulating of them like drinking underage, being drunk, and then also being potentially sort of sexually abused at like P Diddy parties.
Oh,
and
okay.
Then it's like Bieber canceled. It's like, well, why? Like, I mean, okay, underage drinking, not ideal, but you probably knew that he was drinking as a like millionaire celebrity.
Plus, it's 17 in Canada.
Yeah, but it's like, why should he be canceled for being sexually abused and assaulted? Like, what a strange world we live in. Other than you just don't like Justin Bieber, so you've been like waiting for an opportunity to cancel him. But according to this P Diddy stuff, I think everyone we've ever heard of is in trouble, deleting their Twitter. Barack Obama is going to prison, I hear. Just everyone's screwed. I don't know. I do not know what P Diddy was doing, but he's about to take down the world.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. That is a whole weird thing.
I don't believe any of it.
Makes you think if Biggie Smalls were still around, would this have happened?
I did like he's spoken about that fake AI LeBron thing.
Yeah,
because part of the thing is right that when the police raid or the FBI raided P Diddy's house, that they found like 1,000 dildos and just like unlimited liters of lube or something. Two discoveries. Did you see the LeBron James
like
one?
No.
And it's like the AI one. It's the AI LeBron, and he's talking, and he's like, "Yeah, P Diddy invited me over to his house, and he was showing me around, and then he showed me 1,000 bottles of lube, and I said to myself, nothing good is going to happen here. I am taking myself home." Like something like that.
We should get that person on the podcast, the guy who runs that.
It would be interesting to just have AI LeBron on constantly.
I'm pushing through Rings of Power.
Yay or nay? Enjoying
it? So far, not so much. It's only 2 episodes.
Okay.
It's a lot of every character goes through this stage in every episode. I will not do X thing. Walks away, talks to someone else, thinks about it, comes back. Okay, I've changed my mind. I will do X thing. Like every character. And it's kind of getting annoying where it's like every time 2 people are discussing, the one person's like, no. They walk away, they talk to someone else, and they come back like, okay, maybe we can do it.
Yes, there is a little.
I understand it's going to be I can see the setup starting to happen. So, maybe there'll be a little more progression now that things are going. But these first 2 episodes seem to be a little stally in what they're trying to do.
A tiny bit. Because episode 2 is also very Harfoot heavy, isn't it?
A little bit. But it's like like Galadriel goes to Elrond? Yeah. And is like,
Elrond, yeah.
And is like, hey, I want you to help me. We got to go and make sure that what's-his-face isn't making rings. No, I will never do it. 30 minutes later, okay, I'm going to do it. And then it's the ring guy being like, no, Halbrand, you can't come in here. I was told you can never come back. And then 20 minutes later, he's like, all right, you want to come upstairs and talk to me? It's like every person is doing
I've got
this.
Pools of lube. I will say you're not got them to yet, but there was one moment where I thought they were going to have like a homoerotic moment, and I thought that was going to be a twist of like Sauron got him to make the rings because he fell in love with him. There was definitely a strong. You'll get there. There's a moment where you're like, oh, okay, here comes the romance, and then the second one there is, I think it's going into the latest episode, but there's like a transition in the guy who makes the rings in terms of his personality, where it felt like, and I'm sure it just came about through editing, but I was like, did we miss an episode? Like it feels like there's a storyline here that's been overlooked. Like, did I fall asleep during the last 20 minutes of the last episode and I missed some character development? It's possible. But I will say it's not great, but I do think it's better than season 1 would be.
Yeah, it's the other issue I'm kind of running into is I really liked the scenery, the cinematography, and like the CGI blending in season 1. I thought they did a really good job of it. Season 2, you're starting to see some of the cracks. Like there was one particular scene in this episode where they go through, is it Khazad-dûm? No, it's the the bad wizard who you first meet now, which I think is Saruman, but I don't know if it actually is Saruman.
Seems like it.
It looks very suspiciously like him.
I'll say yet to be resolved so far in this TV show, but yes, a little bit like we weren't sure it was Gandalf and then it was Gandalf. It feels like we're getting that in season 2 with a different wizard.
But they do like the zoom in into his like lair or whatever, and that was like way over the top CGI. I didn't appreciate that. And then also like the Khazad-dûm, when they do that into Khazad-dûm, it was like a little too much. Like it's not necessary. Like if it ends up not looking good, then just don't do it. Like you don't have to. I get it. It's like, wouldn't this be a cool shot if we did like a drone shot of like from the outside going all the way into the depths where the dwarves live, and like that'd be so cool. It's like, yeah, that does sound really cool. But when you do it and it looks really fake, just cancel it.
Frank, I've been involved in a lot of projects where I've oversold an idea and then underdelivered. I respect anyone who pulls that off, where you have to stand in front of a bunch of people presenting something and it doesn't look great. They don't know it doesn't look great. And you just got to hope that no one in that room acknowledges it. This was a very good idea. Let's not talk about execution. But yeah, speaking maybe a final topic, I don't always listen to the rewatchables. I do occasionally, depending on who like most the guest is.
Except if I really don't know the movie.
I listened to Rudy on my train
I did too. Yes.
Which I actually enjoyed, because I actually think Kyle, what's his last name? The guy from NFL Network or Good Morning NFL.
Not Kyle Brandt.
Is it Kyle Brandt? I think it is Kyle Brandt. I actually think he's pretty good on that. Like he does a good job of getting jokes in and still like kind of taking the movie seriously, but also making good jokes. However, when they do their, how do they refer to it? Where it's
Apex Mountain.
Apex Mountain. The fact that they said that Sean Astin's Apex Mountain is Rudy and not him being involved in one of the biggest trilogies in movie history is just idiotic.
Yeah. I agree with you. I thought too it was Lord of the Rings. The only issue I have with that is, did anyone really talk about him? Like, did that get him any more roles?
Well, that's a complicated thing then to be like, because and this is very typical of Bill Simmons, right? The definition of what the category is varies. So is it Apex Mountain?
No, I don't think it does. I think it's very, and what I don't get is it's like, when is your stock the highest?
The highest.
That's Apex Mountain. It's not like, when are you the most famous? It's like, when in your career was that the time where it would be like, now you can do anything, or everyone's calling you, or like everyone won't stop talking about you. So like it could be slightly before their actual like best movie, because maybe the reason they got that best movie was because of before. So like it's not that hard to understand, but like what I think is funny is how much people struggle with understanding what Apex Mountain is. They're like, no, he won an Oscar in this movie. And it's like, that's not the point. It's not when he was his best. It's like, when was his stock the highest? But yeah, I don't know.
I do agree with you, but I think his stock was the highest when he was in The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, he was probably being talked about the most then. Because the thing is, no one really talked about Rudy that much when it first came out. It was more of like a cult classic, like afterwards, as like more people watched it before football games and things like that.
If your argument is that that's why, because it's a cult classic, it's like The Goonies is also a cult classic. So why isn't Goonies then his apex mountain? Like you can't have it both ways, because I think The Goonies is probably overall in terms of universally a more loved movie than Rudy is. Because once you go outside the U.S., no one knows Rudy. That's okay. The U.S. is a huge market. I'm not denying, but you're talking about a guy who, you're like, oh yeah, people say when he walks down the street, people say Rudy. It's like, yeah, in like South Bend, Indiana, but he goes to Paris. He's not getting Rudy. As he goes
Actually, probably the only people that recognize him are Americans, and he probably is still getting the Rudy.
It's probably true. You're not wrong. But yeah, I mean, you look at his follow-up to Rudy. It's not like he suddenly went on a murderer's row run of movies that he was in. And it's true, he didn't do that post Lord of the Rings either. But he just hasn't had a career like that. He's been in a couple big things, but he's not a leading man. So it's not like you can all of a sudden be like, let me build off my ability to be a role player in that next big movie.
Yeah. I do love the rewatchables, though. I think that's my favorite of their podcasts.
It's very good. When they pick the right movie, it's very good. I do agree that...
And the right group. You need the right group of people. Yes. I have a very specific favorite group.
And I think you need the right type of people for the right movie.
Yeah.
So, for example,
I'll tell you who's never the right person. Van Latham.
Never the right one. Like Ryan Russillo actually does a good job, like when they've done The Town and stuff, and he kind of leans into the Boston element.
Yeah,
it's pretty enjoyable when because he's taking his analysis too seriously. He kind of knows he is, but he's still doing it, and you don't know how much of it is him being aware and how much isn't. And
how much Ringer podcast talk today?
Yeah, we just had to start a podcast dedicated to the Ringer, but
ringing the Ringer. And then every episode we call them. We try and get one of them on the phone. That's like the bit, like ringing the Ringer.
Week 117. No one at the Ringer has picked up.
All right, I guess with that, we'll call it a day. Talk to you later.
Sounds good. Yeah, see ya.
See ya.